officers were dispatched for a wreck with possible injuries. Officers arrived and met with Christopher Ridings, who admitted to operating one of the vehicles involved in the wreck. Mr. Ridings had a strong odor of alcohol coming from his person, was unsteady on his feet, and was very slow to react to questions. Mr. Ridings informed officers that his license was not valid due to previous DUI convictions. A records check revealed that Mr. Ridings had previously been charged with DUI on 4 separate occasions, including October 2014, February 2011, January 2005, and April 2003. The records check also revealed that Mr. Ridings' driver's license was revoked, and he did not have valid vehicle insurance. Mr. Ridings' story of how the wreck occurred was not consistent with the damage to the vehicles. The other driver, Daniel Grider, was transported to Nova Hospital by AMR to be evaluated for possible injuries. Mr. Ridings refused to perform any standardized field sobriety test, and after being read the Tennessee implied consent, refused to sign or provide any sample for testing. Officers submitted for and was granted a search warrant to seize and search the blood of Mr. Ridings. The search warrant blood draw was successfully performed at the Roger D. Wilson Detention Facility by the nursing staff, which occurred at 9:40 p.m. Ashley McCown was in the front passenger seat at the time of the accident and was cooperative during the investigation. Both vehicles were towed by Fountain City Wrecker. A Tennessee state report was completed for the motor vehicle accident. All right, you have some rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to make any statements. Any that you make voluntarily can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I can appoint one for you. And you have the right to a preliminary hearing, that is a probable cause hearing, where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you some questions on oath in order to set your bond and make sure you qualify for a court-appointed attorney? So will you raise your right hand and be sworn in? This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out at the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. You have a job?
No, sir.
A property, a house, or car that you own?
Just the vehicle that was wrecked yesterday.
What was it?
It's a Jeep Patriot.
What year?
I'm actually not sure.
What do you think it's worth?
Probably nothing now.
What was it worth before?
I only paid $1,500 for it.
You owe anything?
I'm sorry?
You owe anything on it?
No.
You live in Knoxville?
Yes. How?
How long you lived here?
My whole life.
You have family here?
Yes.
Who'd that be?
All my family. Mother, father, brother.
Is there anybody that would vouch for your reliability to show up in court?
I'm sorry?
Is there anybody that would vouch for your reliability to show up in court?
My mother. I'm not gonna bond out.
Stop meowing up there.
My last conviction was a third. Is this not a fourth?
Not what your conviction is, it's how many convictions you have within 10 years of each other and all of them
Yes.
within 20 years of today.
Yeah.
So what you're convicted of previously actually is irrelevant. But I'm going to appoint an attorney. They'll discuss that with you.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to set the bond on the DUI at $5,000. As a condition of that bond, should you post it, you'd be prohibited from drinking alcohol or taking or possessing drugs unless lawfully prescribed. You would have to have a transdermal monitoring device, such as a scram bracelet, placed on your person and to report to Knox County pretrial for monitoring of the device. and you would be prohibited from driving any motorized vehicle, and you'd be prohibited from violating any local, state, or federal law as a condition of bond, and you'd be prohibited from changing your mailing address or residence without prior written notice to Knox County Sessions Court Clerk. And if you bond out, they'll give you information to do that. They'll give you the address, the number, and the insurance charge. So it's $5,500 total. And I'm going to set these in, actually, I don't know the date. Probably Tuesday, but we'll see.
Tuesday for what?
For a bond review, so that if you're unable to post the bond, the judge can consider reducing them or reconsider them at that time. And if
Yeah, like I said, I have no interest in it.
What'd you say?
I have no interest in the bond.
So it looks like you are represented. You've been represented by Clinton Frazier recently, and I will appoint Mr. Frazier to represent you in this as well. There is a $50 fee for the appointment of counsel. That needs to be paid in General Session Court Clerk's office on or before January 13th. But if you are unable to pay by that time, they'll add your court costs, conclusion of the case. Mr. Frazier's telephone number is, I think I know it, but I'm not sure.
I'll write this down. Thank you.
It's 385-7333. Try and get a hold of him prior to your court date, which I'll set in felony court. It looks like I'm going to set it Wednesday. So that's January 4th for a bond review in felony court.
If I have no interest in the bond, I have to go to court still.
We're supposed to set him for that.
I will not be bonding out.
We're still supposed to set it for a bond review. That's our current procedure.
See, I don't take a seat up there on the road. You don't take a seat up there.
No. Willis. You
Go over there.
Okay. You go over there.
That's all I have for you.
All right, thank you.
You sit. I'm over here.
I'm not trying to do nothing illegal.
You're not. You're gonna talk to this man right here, okay?
I don't know who he is neither.
I know.
We got all in it together.
No, actually, we're separate. That's checks and balances. I'm part of the court. He's with law enforcement. Alrighty. What's your name?
Joseph Mills.
So I'm the magistrate. You're here for your arraignment. You've been charged with a crime more than likely. No. It might
What is my charge?
That's what.
What is
we're
my
here for.
charge? Tell me what my charge is.
That's
I've
what
not
I'm here
done
for.
nothing. Ain't no THING. Nothing.
Okay, so you have an attachment that was issued in a trespass case for failure to appear. It was issued on September 13th of this year. And you have a $100 appearance bond to the resolution of that attachment. You understand what's going on?
That's all a big lie. That's what's going on.
Do you understand the lie?
No, I sure don't. No, I don't.
So they're saying you missed court, and they revoked your bond, and they're going to make you post another one if you want to get out. Alrighty, you've also been charged with public intoxication. That will be a Class C misdemeanor if convicted. You understand what you're charged with?
I'm not guilty of none of it.
I didn't ask you if you're
I'm
guilty.
not
I asked you,
pleading guilty to it. I'm not pleading guilty to it.
I'm not asking you to. Would you like me to read the allegations?
I don't care what you read or when you don't read. I'm not guilty of nothing. I ain't done nothing to y'all.
The question is, do you want me to read it for you? So that you can know what they're accusing you of doing.
I don't care if they read it or not. I'm not guilty of it.
Okay, if you cannot afford an attorney, I can appoint one. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, go
Okay.
right ahead. I can do something.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath. Make sure you qualify for court-appointed attorney and to set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled. I need you to raise your right hand.
Gotta hold it up.
I need you to take an oath.
I'm holding it up. I'm putting it up there. And
So you
got a
have
picture of it.
you have to keep it up. Keep it up.
You gotta. There you
Just
go.
keep it up, just like that, okay?
Look at me though, not him.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form and your testimony you give is true and accurate.
Hell no.
So you lied.
No, I didn't lie. I'm telling you, hell no. I didn't plead guilty to nothing.
That's not what I asked you.
That's what I'm telling you. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm not guilty of nothing.
Officer, I think I'm gonna have to set him for court. There's no way to arraign him. There's just no way. Like this. He's gonna need help of an attorney to be arraigned.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna set him on January 4th in misdemeanor court for arraignment.
All righty. All righty. I'll get another one up for you.
Thank you.
Next.
I'll be right with you.
Hey, tell him to grab me another camera, please.
What's
Yes.
your name?
Womack,
What'd you say?
Ricky Womack.
Okay, Mr. Womack, you've been charged with reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Specifically, they're saying it's a vehicle. That'd be a Class E felony if convicted. You've also been charged with drug paraphernalia. That'd be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted. And you've been charged with driving on a revoked license. That would be a Class B misdemeanor if convicted. And you've been charged with a violation of financial responsibility law. That would be a Class C misdemeanor if convicted. You understand what you're charged with?
Yeah,
Would you like me to read the allegations?
no.
Okay, you have some rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to make any statements in these cases, but any that you make voluntarily can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I can appoint one for you. And you have the right to a preliminary hearing. That is a probable cause hearing where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. You understand those rights?
Yeah, but they told me I was charged with all misdemeanors. Because I was inside the car when the car blew up.
Okay,
I was in the cruiser when it happened.
I don't want to discuss that. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I don't want to discuss it because you're not represented by counsel right now.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, would you like me to appoint an attorney?
Yes.
But it was charged as a felony. Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath. Make sure you qualify as well as to set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail. You swear, affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate.
Yes.
Thank you. You have a job?
No, I draw this a monthly check.
Disability.
Yeah, disability, SSI,
How much do you get for SSI?
914. We just got a raise.
Any
Is
property,
it,
a
will I
house?
get a bond on this?
Yes. Any property, a house or car that you own?
No,
Other forms of income or asset?
no, I ain't got nothing. The only thing I had was the car and it's in the impound now, burned up.
Okay. I'm going to set the bond on the reckless endangerment at $1,000 and on the paraphernalia at $500. I'm going to ROR everything else. So those are the only two bonds you have to make.
So how much does that be?
$1,500 and then 10% of that. And as a condition of that bond, should you post it, you're not to have any contact or communication with the alleged victim of that reckless endangerment. Strike that. They didn't list the victim.
Yeah, because nobody got hurt. It was a house caught on fire.
Okay, I'm going to set these in felony court on Wednesday. That is July the 4th, so that if you're unable to post those two bonds, the judge can reconsider them at that time. If you do post them, they will give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. As soon as that's done printing out, I will.
If I get a bond call, I can probably
I'll
post
get
it.
you an attorney. Well, they'll give you a different court date then, if you do.
That's all I need is to be able to be able to call the bondsman to be able to let them get a hold of my family. I got some money put up. And I got my family's going to help me get out too.
So it looks like you were recently represented by an attorney named Julie Kuykendall. And I will appoint Ms. Kuykendall to represent you in this case as well, these cases. There is a $50 fee for the appointment of counsel. That needs to be paid in General Session Court Clerk's office on or before January the 13th. But if you're unable to pay by that time, they will give you a different court date to go to. Excuse me, I'm mixing up what I'm telling you. If you're unable to pay by that time, they'll add your court costs at the conclusion of the case. And Ms. Kuykendall's telephone number is 637-0134. Try and get a hold of her prior to your court date. which will be on Wednesday unless you post your bond.
But if I can get a bond call, I can probably post it. I just
Still
need
try and
to.
get a hold of her. It'll just be a different date.
Okay.
That's all I have for you.
Uh,
Got one more for you.
You're right.
Go ahead. 7905, please. 10-4. I'm currently 10-6.
Make sure I wrote, John, will you make sure that I wrote 2023 on all these? Okay. Let me go through them. I've had to change it several times.
Police just want to go upstairs. 10-4, I'll get that.
I've got to touch the body shop.
What's your name?
Patrick.
Okay, Mr. Patrick, you've been charged with, actually, first, you have an attachment that was issued in an evading arrest case on November 14th of 2022 for failure to appear, and you have a $500 appearance bond pending resolution of that attachment. You understand what you're charged with there?
Yeah.
What you're facing there is actually not, it's an existing charge. It's a failure to appear. It was just a failure to appear. It wasn't a new charge. You understand what's going on there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've also been charged with resisting a stop, arrest, or search. You understand what you're charged with?
You
Would you like me to read the
No.
allegations?
said what?
Would you like me to read the allegations?
No.
Okay, if you cannot afford an attorney, I can appoint one. Would you like me to do that?
No thanks.
You can represent yourself
What's that for?
for the resisting charge.
No.
You can represent yourself.
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just represent myself.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath. To set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. You swear or affirm, tell truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you. You have a job?
No.
Any property, house, or car that you own?
No.
You live in Knoxville?
Uh-huh.
How long you lived here?
For some years.
How many?
Like 5 to 6.
You have family here?
No.
Is there anybody that would vouch your liability to show up in court?
No.
I'm gonna set the bond on this resisting. I'm gonna set the bond on the resisting at $750. And I'm gonna set this in misdemeanor court on Wednesday, that's January 4th, for a bond review. So if you're unable to post these bonds, the judge can reconsider them at that time. If you do post them, they will give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. And since you're going to represent yourself, let me check. You sure you don't want me to appoint an attorney to represent you? I can appoint an attorney. So you've already got David Skidmore from the Public Defender's Office on the other charges. I'm not even going to charge a fee. Would you like me to appoint them on this case?
Take it up to the city.
For what?
So you have the public defender on your attachment case. I'll just go ahead and appoint them on your new case. That's all right.
What, do they help pay the bonds off or?
It won't affect anything to do with your bond. It's just whether you have an attorney on this.
No thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna appoint the district public defender to represent you. I'm gonna waive the administrative fee that we normally assess for the appointment of counsel because it's already been assessed in another case. They have the number of the public defender's office to jail. Try and get a hold of them prior to your court date, which I'm gonna set on Wednesday if you don't post the bonds. And just real quick, this is the form that you filled out of the jail. Do you swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form is true?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
What if I can't pay for my bonds?
They'll reconsider them on Wednesday and they might release you then. They can release you on Wednesday as well. But I can't. That would have to be up to the judge when you get to court. And that's all I have for you.
You can head back to yourself. All righty, thank you. That's all of them.
Alrighty, have a good night.
You
See
too.
you at midnight if you're still here.